All right, so you guys already know JP is getting. I'm gonna just go ahead and say they're getting the one Escanor. So I went on ahead and I made a version of what the one Escanor could possibly be, but this is just a character concept, so keep that in mind. It's not confirmed or anything. This is not like official. I just want you guys to, keep that in mind while I go over this unit that I made, right? But it is a pretty cool character concept, if I do say so myself. I do like how this card turned out. I don't think he's okay, we'll just go over it in the video, but yeah, before I get into that, just be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Grand Cross content. Also, be sure to join our Discord. We would love to have you. But let's go ahead and let's break down this character that I made. Obviously, the actual in-game character unit will be a lot different. Hopefully they have some of the same aspects that I'm gonna go over, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot different, but this is just for fun. So let's go ahead and break down the one Escanor. So for starters, he is going to be a blue unit. I decided to make him blue since we already have a red and green version of Escanor. What's the harm in making a blue unit? Obviously, you guys know blue units, they aren't crazy, but they're pretty good. So having another crazy blue unit in their arsenal would just be incredible, right? It'd make the blue typing very, very strong. So yeah, that's why I made him blue. Obviously, his race is human. I put him in SS tier right away because of what he does, and I'll go over that. Then, unlike what I did with Arthur, I went ahead and gave him base stats. So his base stats, his attack is 6,228, very, very high for a level 80 6-star 6 out of 6 character. I didn't give Super Awakening because I don't really know how Super Awakening works yet, because Global doesn't have it. So this is just assuming Super Awakening doesn't exist, by the way, so keep that in mind as well. So his attack rate, then his defense is 2,841. His defense is very, 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 very garbage. Very, very garbage. But I didn't want to make him too broken, and I didn't want to make him like a defensive juggernaut either. So yeah, defense is very, very low. His HP is also on the low end with 53k, very, very low. But I did that on purpose so that way he wouldn't have too high of HP, as well as a strong attack, strong attack stat, right? So then we get into his substats. His pierce rate is 90.5%, which is very, very high, right? So his damage is going to be pretty crazy. Not gonna lie, his damage is gonna be pretty crazy. The output that he can do will be astronomical. His resistance is 73%. So even though his defense is low, he'll still have very good resistance. 73% is very, very good, right? It's very, very viable, especially with this day and age, right? His regeneration is 0%, so we don't even have to talk about that. His crit chance is 21%, so he will not be critting often. That is a very good thing, considering that this Escanor is very, very attack, he's just attack type, right? He's literally just attack. His crit damage is high, 187.5%, but the fact that you won't be getting crits off kind of balances it. If you do get a crit, it's gonna be crazy, but the likelihood of you getting a crit is not high. So yeah. Crit resistance 85.5%. Again, he's not going to be getting critted a lot, and even if he does, his crit defense is 60.5%. So crits aren't really going to affect this unit. Again, this is the one Escanor. Keep that in mind. I didn't know how because you can't make everyone happy. Some people will want him to be the most broken. I, for one, wanted him to be just a very, very incredibly strong unit, but I also wanted him to have downsides as well, right? I didn't want to make him insanely broken. He's gonna have faults, right? He's gonna have faults. It's Grand Cross. So his recovery rate is very, very low, 105%. Terrible recovery rate, and he has no life steal, so he will not be gaining HP from attacking, right? So keep that in mind as well. So then we go on to his skills. This is the bread and butter of what people are going to want to see. I feel like they're not even going to watch this portion. They're just going to go ahead and skip to the skills. So here we go. His skill, right? His skill 1, very, very powerful. Pinnacle Strike. It is a one-hitter quitter, but it inflicts color affinity damage equals to 245% of attack on one enemy at rank 1. Rank 2, 330%. Rank 3, 450%. So I went ahead and gave him a new type of effect on his attack, which is color affinity. If you guys play One Piece Treasure Cruise, you are probably familiar with this attack effect already. Basically, what color affinity does is it boosts the type advantage damage that you have astronomically. So you can see right there, boost type advantage damage by 30% on top of the already, I believe it's 50% for type advantage, or it's 40%, it's somewhere around there, right? But you're adding on an additional 30% to whatever the percentage is of type advantage in this game, which is incredibly strong. However, it is also a double-edged sword because it also boosts type disadvantage damage by 30%. That is a lot of energy in there. But yeah, it's basically, right, how it works is, yes, it boosts the damage dealt to reds by a lot. Like, reds stand no chance against this skill. But, right, the only unfortunate thing is greens won't take damage. They're literally taking no damage from this skill because it is a double-edged sword. So where it says boost type disadvantage damage by 30%, that basically means whatever the type disadvantage percentage is in the game, it's adding on a 30%. So if it's 50%, it automatically jumps up to 80%, right? They're taking 80% less damage from this skill. In most cases, you might have units that could actually patience this, so keep that in mind, right? So this skill is basically just to go up against a very strong red and take them out. So yeah, color affinity, very, very powerful. Then we go to his skill 2. His skill 2, Burning Pride. So I went ahead and made this a 5-hit combo. It's not that strong, but with Escanor's high attack and pierce rate, it's gonna be powerful, right? So it has 5 hits. It is a debuff skill. Inflicts damage equal to 150% of attack on one enemy. Disables passive skill. Very, very strong. I went ahead and gave him a new debuff as well. So it's gonna disable passive skills on one enemy. On rank 2, it's 220% damage. And again, it's a single hitting target. However, once it gets to rank 3, this is where things get interesting because the attack multiplier is the same. However, it's an AoE now. So he's disabling passive skills for 2 turns. For 2 turns, AoE, that's insane. That is actually insanity. So whoever has a very, very strong passive is getting just cucked in general. So you can use this against Goddess Elizabeth, who revives. You can disable her passive skill. You can use this against Lost Vein, who, you know, ranks up if you crit him. Pretty good. It's a very powerful debuff, but I went ahead and gave him this debuff because I wanted to give him like new stuff, because I know festival units come out with crazy things. So very, very strong. Again, attack multiplier, I wanted to make it less. I was going for 100% on one enemy, but I was like, maybe that's a little too low, and then it was going to be like 180% for rank 2 and 3. But again, I went ahead and just went with 220% because it is a single hitting target until it gets to rank 3. Once it gets to rank 3, it is an AoE, so keep that in mind as well. Now let's go to his ultimate. His ultimate is very interesting, but his passive skill is what makes or breaks this unit. So his ultimate obviously is Divine Blade Escanor. So it inflicts damage equal to 800% of attack to one enemy, ignoring defensive related stats. So it'll completely ignore defense related stats, which means this is going to nuke a unit no matter what, because they don't have any defense. Even just 1 out of 6, 800% ignoring attack related stats, craziness. It's absolute craziness. And then he goes ahead and decreases attack related stats by 30% for 2 turns on all enemies. This is still a single hitting target. It's just like Kyo, how he has a single hitting target, but then he inflicts ignites on all enemies, right? So it's the same exact thing. This guy decreases attack related stats by 30% for 2 turns on all enemies, so they can't do anything. So yes, it is a very, very powerful ultimate. And then his multiplier is 40%. At 6 out of 6, it is 1,000% of attack to one enemy. That may not seem like a lot, right? But considering he ignores defense-related stats, bonkers. Literally a nuke. Just craziness. It's a nuke. So then his passive skill. Oh boy. All right. So his passive skill, insanity. Insanity. So his passive skill is the incarnation of invincibility. So when this hero is attacked, removes 1 orb from the enemy's alt move gauge. So if he is attacked, that means anyone who attacked Escanor is gonna have their alt rolled back. So if you're trying to alt rush and you attack this man's, you're gonna get your alt gauge depleted. Keep that in mind by 1. Okay, so then when this hero applies a debuff, deletes 1 skill at random. So again, his second skill is a debuff skill. If he applies it on a unit, it will delete a random skill from the enemy's hand. Very, very powerful. When he applies debuffs on multiple enemies, deletes the number of skills based on the amount of debuffs applied. So if he uses an AoE ranked, his rank 3, right? Skill 2, rank 3, whatever. He is deleting 3 cards at random. Very powerful. And then he's gonna go ahead with his ultimate as well and delete an additional 2 cards or whatever if you use it, because whoever you target with his ultimate is not living, so we're just gonna assume they're dead. And then the other 2 remaining enemies, he's gonna delete both. He's gonna randomly delete 2 cards from the hand. Very strong. Very, very strong. Removes all buffs and debuffs. Only applies to this unit, by the way. So only Escanor is going to have his debuffs removed and his buffs removed, right? Double-edged sword. Increases skill ranks of all allies and increases all stats by 20% when the hero survives with 15% HP or less, limit of once. His passive it's borderline broken. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. But I needed to make his passive skill very, very good, because obviously this is a hype unit. People want him to be broken. People who legit want him to be the best unit in the game. I think with this passive skill combined with his his skill 1 and 2, he's gonna be very, very powerful, man. He is. So when he's attacked, the alt gauge of the enemies are rolled back by 1 automatically. When he applies a debuff, he removes deletes skills. So basically, he's Mon Speed, but with a passive ability, which is craziness, right? And then if he applies multiple debuffs on the enemies, it deletes the number of cards depending on how many debuffs applied. Craziness. Removes all buffs and debuffs, so any debuff that he has on him gets removed off rip. And then increases skill ranks of all allies and increases all stats by 20% if he does survive with 15% HP or less. Keep in mind, you have to survive with 15% HP or less. You can only do this once, by the way. So this does make him very, very powerful when he is close to death. Keep in mind that removing all his buff and debuffs, increasing skill ranks of all allies, yada yada yada, that is all within this once limit. You can only do this 1 time. So then after that, if he manages to survive, he can only use that 1 time. So then the rest of his passive is literally just him removing alt gauge and deleting cards, right? But it's still strong. Now the problem is you might not live, considering greens are very powerful as well in this game. So that's why his defense is low. But if you do manage to live, you are going to do some crazy damage. His resistance is high, his crit resistance is high, and his crit defense is high, which is why I made it, his defensive stats so high. Except his defense is low, but his defensive substats are very, very powerful and good, right? They're viable. You can run him alongside units that can increase defense related stats. It's up to you. But yeah, he's powerful, man. He is very, very broken. especially since his skill 1 has color affinity. This is, I'm telling you guys, if you never played One Piece Treasure Cruise, you don't understand how powerful color affinity damage is. You really don't understand how powerful it is, because this like red unit stand no chance. I was gonna give this to him on his passive, but he would have legit been broken, because if he had color affinity on his passive, he would have legit killed any red in his way, no matter what it was. It could have been Lostbane, it could have been Gowther, it could have been Zeldris, it could have been any red. They would have been destroyed. There would have been no chance of survival, because color affinity is that broken. Greens, however, have the advantage because, again, this is literally going to do no damage to greens. Some of them might even patience it, because even though the wording's weird, it will boost type disadvantage damage. So keep that in mind. So let's say you attack with him, Escanor, green Escanor is going to take nothing. Like, he's legit going to take nothing. If anything, maybe like 10k on a rank 3. Like, in all honesty, because the stronger the move is, the stronger the disadvantage damage is. So keep that in mind as well. So if you use a rank 3 on green Escanor, or any green for that matter, they not taking damage. Like, that's it. They're not taking damage. But reds are finished. Reds are like completely toast. There's no chance of survival. His skill 2, very, very powerful. Disabling passive skills, that might be too strong. Let me know in the comments if you guys think that. But I think for one turn without passives, it'll be fine. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And then Divine Blade Escanor is very, very powerful as well. But overall, I think this is a very, very good unit. You could run him with several different characters. You could run him with people who taunt so they can't attack Escanor, although you do want them to attack Escanor, right? So that's the thing. There's just so many things with this unit that you could do. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. I just wanted to give you guys my little card that I made for the one Escanor. Hopefully the one Escanor isn't too broken when he officially releases, but that yet remains seen, right? So we'll see what happens. But again, the one Escanor is a very hype character, so I am excited to see what he can do. Hopefully it is craziness, but hopefully it's not too crazy, if that makes sense, right? But yeah, I think overall, this character concept is a very good concept. But you guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is it too broken? Is it too underwhelming for the one Escanor? You guys let me know. You guys be the judge, the bearer, right? You guys be the holy law. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. If you guys did enjoy, again, consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribe for more Grand Cross content. If you're new to the channel, also be sure to join the Discord. And with that said, I will see you all next time.